Well, my name's Chris Dyer. I own Outer Limits Comics. I remember before there ever was comic book stores in Nashville. That was one of the cool things about it. There was no comic book stores in Nashville 25, well probably, let's see, I'm 35 and I was collecting when I was 6, so you know, 29 years ago, there was no comic book stores in Nashville. Where we would buy our comic books was at the flea market. And I was in 1st and 2nd grade, I remember, and going to flea markets and buying comics for $2 or $3 and taking them back to school and selling them to my friends for $3 and $4, you know. And that was kind of cool because, you know, I was learning the business, making money. Are you serious? A card game called Grass, and you're a drug dealer. That's hilarious. I haven't seen it. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll be here tomorrow. If you want to call back, I'll call my distributor and I'll ask him if you got any grass. I've sold a lot of things, but I've never sold grass. Okay. We'll give it a try. I wouldn't care a bit for doing. People that don't know what we do, are the type of people that come in here. If you're an outsider looking in, I'm sure you're totally bizarre. You're freaked out. You're thinking that they're up to no good. And most of these people, I've got to say, the God's honest truth, most of these people, their IQ is probably above normal, way above normal, to be honest. They have imagination. They're not your typical stereotype. And most of these people are down-to-earth, good. They're nice people. They're honest people. Of course, there's in any environment you go to, even in millionaires, there's crooks and millionaires, and at the country club, you know. But I'm sure they're just totally freaked out because we've had them out here doing sword fights out in front of the stores, you know, putting their Darth Vader helmets on and doing lightsaber battles or dancing to Japanese music, and I can imagine what people think. I know my little sister, we pulled up one time and she said, I'm not going in there. It was Monday night during anime night. She said, I'm not going in there. I said, Tiffy, they won't bother you. I don't care, I'm not going in there. I said, okay. I was taking her out to eat, but she wouldn't come in.
All right, thanks everybody for coming out. As you can tell, we're under new administration now, of course, which needed to be done to get things going. I'd like to congratulate everybody that's made officers. I think y'all do a good job. Let's get this straightened out that it's not a social gathering, it is a club. And from now on there will be things going on. And we've all discussed this. The people that have made officers and stuff, we've all discussed this prior to this meeting. And if you're coming for a social event or a social gathering, you're at the wrong place. Point blank. I came in here yesterday, somebody sitting on the floor meditating. This is a store. This is not a damn place to come in and, you know, this is not a park. You don't do this. This is a store, first and foremost. Remember this.
5% of the population buys or is interested in the stuff I sell. That 5% of people, they want to meet other people that do the same thing. Common sense. They want somewhere to meet. They come in and they ask if they could. I never have started a club. The other people have, and we've just went from there. At one time we had as many as 5 clubs meeting at the store in a month. And some meet every week, some would meet every 2 weeks, some would meet once a month. But I think it's a great way for the people to get to meet each other, the other people that are interested in the same thing they are.
I'm sure you might have announcements, but We don't know what they are.
Good teamwork!
And
What do you know?
I know that I get to make the announcements because I was voted vice president.
What announcements?
The announcements that I don't have. what will you watch? What's with these cokes with mine here?
I grabbed mine.
The kind you clean up with a mop and bucket, like the lost catacombs of Egypt. Only God knows where we stuck it. Hieroglyphics, only be Pacific. I wanna be down in your South Seas, but I got this notion that the motion of your ocean reads small craft advisory. So I capsize and your thighs, I die, D5, you sunk my battleship.
女の子じゃないよ。私はトンパン。
I'm Amber McGee and I'm 18 years old and I'm Otaku Supreme. Otaku is the Japanese word for a person obsessed with something. Most of the time it's anime, and we're just big anime fans. I've been an anime fan for about 6 years. It's a really slow start for most people. And I really like it. It's just fun. My father would be the one who got me into anime. He was always really interested in the science fiction and fantasy and really cool stuff like that, and comic books, and he would watch the late night anime stuff that came on Sci-Fi Channel and tell me all about it the next morning, and I would be wow! So I'd stay up late and watch it when he wasn't looking, and I really loved it, and so I started getting into it myself. One day I walked into school and I was wearing a Sailor Moon t-shirt, and I found another girl who was wearing the exact same t-shirt. And we just started talking, and I went and met all their friends who also happened to be into it. And one day I heard about the anime club, and I was like, oh, something fun to do, because lots of people like that, and I could meet more people and have more fun. So I went to the anime club, and I went in costume the first day, and it was a blast. And I got to meet new people and find all kinds of new stuff and watch new anime, and it was awesome.
This is supposedly my name in kanji. This is where I keep most of my stuff.
This manga right here that I got on my first trip to Anime Week in Atlanta, it's a really rare Legend of Zelda manga, which I ran into at a bookstore that was across the street from the convention, and it was really, I've never seen anything like it. This down here is my signed manga by Yu Otase, the creator of Fushigi Yugi, my mentor. I got her to autograph my manga for me. These are all my tags to all the anime conventions I've been to. And my very rare 12-inch Trunks doll, which no one has ever seen one of, that I got off the internet. Those are the first Sailor Moon things I ever got, were those dolls up there that are collecting dust, along with the cell from the last episode of Sailor Moon. That's an actual cell from Japan, from the last episode of Sailor Moon, which cost a pretty penny. The first Japanese drink I ever had, it's called Lamune. I would suggest you try it. If anyone ever if you ever see this funky looking bottle with the bead in the middle, it's the best drink in the world. It's a Japanese soft drink. It tastes like liquid, like sweet tarts. Everything that I keep in my room is really important to me, but those are some of the most important ones that I've got. I see myself sitting on a straw mat floor, drawing anime comic books at one of those low art desks, on one of those pillows with my knee, like sit down on one of those Japanese pillow chairs and just drawing. I would just say that comic books and anime are like the new frontier for imagination. I mean, if anything can be done, it can be done with this, and it's just a great way to spend your time.
1, 2, 3, we're gonna rape, kill, pillage and burn. We're gonna rape, kill, pillage and burn. Eat a baby.
The Star Trek people are a trip. God, they're a trip. They carry it one step further. Well, I think anime people are too, but the Star Trek people, they live and die by this stuff. They really do.
Because of the club, we have formed really good friendships with a lot of our fellow club members, and to the point that they're actually our best friends. And we mostly did it, I guess, because we wanted to be around other Star Trek fans, and not necessarily just to be doing Star Trek 24/7, because we have other interests and everything. But we got together because we wanted to have a forum and a way to express Star Trek within the community. We leave the persona part for the conventions, because I think in the real world people don't really understand what being a Star Trek fan is in a club, and I think that, so we leave that for the conventions. As far as the community goes, we tell people that we're part of Star Trek Nashville, that we're Star Trek fans. We try to explain to them also, because there's a lot of, I guess, stigma towards Star Trek fans, especially because of the whole William Shatner, not the Priceline commercials, but he did a skit years ago in Saturday Night Live. So a lot of people see Star Trek fans like that, and they don't see Star Trek fans as hardworking people that have jobs, that have lives, and they see them as people who live in their parents' basements. And so once we get people over that, we try to do community events like help at the at National Public Radio, at National Public TV, I think that's what it's called. Yeah. In their drives, every year we do a charity event either with Toys for Tots or the Angel Tree to get children toys. All the conventions we go to, there is always some charity event. Well, we need to go ahead and start. Decide is where we want to have our club night out.
We've had a request from our chief security officer for Ryan's Donaldson.
That would be good.
It's all you can eat.
Best experience we've had, actually, we had it here at the store. It was last year. We were talking about the Angel Tree, and we were deciding, trying to get the money up, between the club, everybody had to donate X amount of money, and we were trying to get the people that were delegated to doing the Angel Tree, to getting the presents for the Angel Tree. We were delegating them, well, do you have time to do this, because everybody's got jobs and everything. And this lady comes up and hands me a $20 bill, and it says, I was really impressed with what you guys are talking about. I didn't think that she didn't call us Star Trek fans, but she said sci-fi fans would be that committed to their fellow man. God bless you, and here's some money for you to buy these children a present. And then she walked out, and we all just stood there in silence because we were just like, wow, that never happened to any of us.
A lot of this stuff's pretty hard to find. I drove to Atlanta this weekend, I drove 500 miles round trip. I bought one comic book for myself. I would have been glad to drove 500 miles to find that one comic because I can't find things I like. And just like I say in club meetings, they want to meet people that are the same interests they have. They want to find the really rare, hard to find stuff. If you like this kind of stuff, you can find something. There's no question.
My name is Selena Desire. I own the Dancing Cat, where I work as a tarot reader and a psychic consultant. I'm also an exotic dancer that works all over the country. I'm billed as the Cat Goddess of Love. And I've also just been picked as the Broadsword Comics Girl. I've been collecting comic books since I was like 5. I started watching Super Friends and the old Batman TV show when I was like 4 or 5. And I said, I want to grow up and be like Wonder Woman. And then I saw Catwoman. And after I saw the way Batman reacted to her, I said, no, I want to be her. So I wanted to grow up and be Catwoman. So here I am. I've got a costume maker that pretty much all I got to do is take a picture to him, and he can make anything reality. So you know, if I can draw it, he can make it. So if all those guys out there reading comic books, you know, if they look at me and I look like something that jumped out of the comic book and it makes them smile, then I'm happy because I'm making somebody smile and I'm making their day better. So, you know, I'm glad I can be their fantasy girl, you know.
I'm TK326, and I'm Imperial Stormtrooper.
TK909 on loan from Tatooine.
We've had these suits for about a year and a half, and I have a suit that I bought before this I've had for about 4 years. We bought these from a bootlegger in Hollywood.
Oh, we're fashion police.
Yeah.
What?
They say they're fashion police.
The reason I started dressing as Xena is the fact that my roommate 3 years ago got me started on watching this show, and I thought that it was going to be just the stupidest thing in the world. Women in tight, revealing outfits running around saving the world. But I really got hooked on it, and I just started becoming a Xena groupie and going to all these things, and I really like it. It's a lot of fun. I actually made this outfit myself. They have a butter egg pattern for Xena now, would you believe it? The sword and the chakram I bought, but the rest of it is handmade. I buy a little bit of everything at conventions. I like buying artwork. Not much into comic books, but I do collect action figures. I bought props, and some conventions have charity auctions. I bought quite a bit in those. There's different things to buy, except that my credit limit does not always agree with what I want to buy. And I've had kids come up to me asking for my autograph. I've had men stuffing $20 bills down my bra. It's just a blast. These kind of conventions are smaller conventions are a lot more fun than the larger ones because you get to talk to people a lot more. The guests are usually much more accessible. There was this one time where I went to Atlanta and I was really hungry. I had to and normally I will not eat at McDonald's, but I had to eat something. I was starving. I went in my full Xena regalia with my friend who was dressed as Gabrielle, and the guy just gave us this really strange look and said, "You guys in a play or something?" And then this guy called back finally and said, "Hey, whatever it was I ordered for Xena and Gabrielle." And the manager, who was this big Xena nut, says, "Xena and Gabrielle." He did this sideways jump over the counter to try to come and see us and just basically fawned on us for a good 10 minutes and gave us a free meal. It was just funny.
My favorite superhero? My favorite superhero. Okay, let's see now. I would have to say Space Ghost, because that guy is the man.
Let's see. It would have to be Havoc.
Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. Sailor Moon.
Gambit. Captain Marvel's favorite superhero. Oh gosh. I don't know. Superman?
Catwoman's my favorite character.
The Tick.
I think Spawn is cool. I like all of his action figures.
Jerry Only's pretty cool.
The X-Men I like. I like a lot of the earlier stuff. You know, I can't wait to have our comic book out so I can be comic book characters.
Oh, what a good question. Superman.
I'm Dick Warlock, and I'm here at a comic book convention in Nashville, Tennessee, and having a very good time. The fans are great. They've been very good to me, and I enjoy talking to them. I've worked in Jaws, Escape from New York, Delta Force 2, Kurt Russell stunt double for 25 years. I got to work with Linda Blair from The Exorcist. Well, I worked in Halloween 2 as Michael Myers. That was a different experience for me. My fiance at the time, or girlfriend at the time, said that I had changed a little bit during the filming. I don't know why. I mean, I'm playing a killer running around. Don Shanks and I worked on a Married with Children together. And Don said, "You know, you've got to go out on these conventions." I said, "What convention?" He said, "Where you sign your autograph and sell your picture." I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." He said, "You're kidding." I said, "No." So he told me about him, and he said, "Dick, you got to do this." So I put it off, and another friend of mine said, "Why don't you go do it, man? You got nothing to lose." So I started sniffing around to see what I can do, and I got a hold of Tony Timpone, who does the Creation Fangoria thing. And that was the first one, and that led to another one, and another one, and another one. I enjoy it because it gives me a chance to be with the fans, you know, and find out what they think, and And that's when I realized that there was a big fan base for these Halloween things, and Jason and so on. So I'm having a good time. I had a stalker once. I had a stalker, a guy that I had given him a small photo. This was before I realized, again, I wasn't out on the convention circuit or anything. And he wrote me through the Stuntmen's Association, got a whole